Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
And let's both pour 2 shots of tequila. Get this all done with. I see the problem. I know exactly what the problem is. You got an 1.25 inch cylinder.
The first order was 1.25 inch, sure, because that's the length of a standard 1E7.
I get some pictures that were shipped, and this cylinder with the tape measure is 1.25 inches because you don't count the cam.
With Best, you don't count the cam. That's right.
Right. So these are the, and I'm understanding that this picture is the cylinder you got for the 1.5 inch that were shipped.
What that picture you're looking at is the original shipment of 12 housings, where I asked for a 1E7 in a 24 length.
Right, that's what I'm. Okay, so that's what I was saying. Okay, I don't want to get confused here. So I am looking at the right picture. They shipped the wrong cylinder housings.
I don't agree with that in the sense that whether or not if it's not in that image, the part number is actually on the box and does not have the 24 length code. So right. So that makes that 1.25 inches. That's their standard, and that's what I see. I saw the picture of the box. But it does not say 24 on it, right?
It does not.
Yeah. So
no,
that would be 1.25 inches.
They forwarded me the picture of this.
Yep. Yeah. Without specifying the length code, you're going to get 1.25 inches when you order a 7-pin.
Correct.
So you said that they sent the wrong stuff. What I would
that's
look
what
at.
I was being told is Best ship the incorrect. When you so wait a minute. Listen, let me back up because I want to get this right in my head and make sure I'm not confused, because now I'm thinking we're dealing with 2 orders here or something, but my understanding is you ordered 12 1.5 inch with the 24 code, which I saw from Eric's email. He forwarded me a copy of it, and you have the 1E7, and I know the 4 goes after it, then the 24, which is 1.5 inches, with the Adams Wright cam.
Yeah, the missing component is what did Security Lock convey to Best. So it's either wrong there or it's wrong on Best's side.
They conveyed the 24.
Yeah, okay. So then, yeah, Best definitely just picked standard cylinders.
Right. Best shipped it incorrect. I know that. I see that.
Okay.
So, all right. So now.
And by the way, I don't really care who's at fault. I'm not pointing fingers.
No, Best said they didn't make a mistake. I guess is what I'm understanding. But, let's see.
It'd be nice to know how they conclude that. So, he asked for a 24 length.
I absolutely get it. So he ordered a 1E7424. I see that. Okay, so he did order that. Yes, he ordered those as 24, and Best did not. They shipped that box without the 24 on it. But they're saying that the cylinder is longer in there, but it's not as far as I see, because I started locksmithing in 74. I used to teach this stuff. So as soon as I saw it, I knew what they were seeing, because Eric said, it shows, to me it's a 1/16 of an inch short. It's not a big deal. But Eric's counting the cam. You don't count the cam with Best. I know that.
No, you don't.
So I can do 10 out of my stock. I'm short 2 in black. I just don't have them.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is the lead time's not a problem. This is a larger scope. The stuff's going to Italy, and based on what the client's got going on in his world, he's not pressed for time. I just am glad that I didn't obviously ship the stuff to Europe to find out it's the wrong length. So it's not a lead time problem. Take your time. I just need I need a 24 code. I happen to be an active member of ALOA. I'm 3 PRPs away from being a CPL. So I'm with you on this. We understand a locksmith's perspective on this stuff, which is why I just, I need a 24 code. I know what test is going to send.
I got to go take some more tests and move up. I did the test for the CRL. I wouldn't take the RL. I refused it because they used to give that on merit for a year's work.
Yeah. Time served.
If I can't pass the test, I don't want the signification.
Well, I'll tell you the one that's. Yeah, well, someday you and I can sit down and have that tequila and talk about that test. That was a 15-round heavyweight bout for me personally when I took it. So the PRP, the elective that's killing me, is the lever tumbler PRP.
Really?
It is killing me. It is. I've taken it multiple times. It's not 1905, and I haven't spent 10 years master keying lever tumbler locks. So, are you widening the gates? Are you adding another gate? Is there a master lever? All 3 of those are good methods to use, and I like the master tumbler, the master lever tumbler answer the best. Anyway, it's just
Who does this? But you know what? One of the guys, when I first started locksmithing, one of the guys that I worked for before I opened my place, he actually still maintains the Schlage A&W wafer master system for a guy. He still does. I said, what are you, out of your mind? And he goes, no, the guy's got hundreds of these locks, and I just do it. And it's like, you know what, Alan, you're 80. One day, you got to give it up.
Well, to him, he finds it easy.
He does.
Yeah.
For him, it's easy. My big test that I had a hard time with was doing the master key on the Chicago tubular locks and getting it, because I never really did them. They were more for the Coke machines and all that crap. I didn't deal with that. Yeah. I did as little of that as possible. I'd rather do the other stuff and do the hard stuff. And, I can tell you how to mount a rim cylinder through a 3-foot thick wall and not break the tailpiece and not twist it.
Unfortunately, ALOA has pulled the tubular key servicing exam from their offering. They're no longer allowing you to test for it. So, I've got to pass lever tumbler and special cylinder. I'm ready to take, and then the last one is keyless locks. I'm ready to take that one. So then I'll be a CPL, and then I'm going to call it quits because a CML is a different breed.
You know what? I just didn't bother going for it. It's like I reached a point and then I sold both my companies in '99. Enough was enough.
Yeah,
you know what? It was a change of life thing for me. It was, I was running 2 businesses, 18 hours a day for 6 days a week for 11 years. And then my first wife had a heart attack and passed away. I became a single parent overnight. And it's like 3 days after the funeral, I sold both companies, and I've never looked back.
Good for you. It sounds like
I was supposed to be retired in 2007. I was actually, my daughter, I told these guys, because they always ask me, come work for us, his stuff, because I used to teach it for the locksmiths associations and stuff. And then I called them up, and I came, and then I said, listen, in 2007, when my daughter goes to college, I'm going to Arizona and throw pottery in Tubac. So they said, okay, and then 2007 came, and one of the owners came to me and said, yeah, but you play poker. We'll move you to Vegas. You can play poker.
That's an offer you can't.
And I'm like,
literally an offer
damn
you can't refuse.
So, yeah, but I actually went for 8 years. They moved me out, and I worked Boston hours, and I played poker tournaments in the afternoon and evenings and weekends. And I actually met the guys from the World Poker Tours, and I met the pros. They coached me, and I actually took one of those tournaments down.
Nice.
I love it, and I left. And now I'm in the Carolinas in my retirement condo, and I'm still here.
Well, I've taken a lot of Aloha classes, and I'd like to say that people like yourself with knowledge, and especially the people in Aloha, they're the most famous people no one has ever heard of.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. So I was at Aloha 2 years ago, and I'm writing an article on Master Ring because I want to publish an article. So I'm writing this epic, article on Corbin Master Ring, and I'm taking a high security interchangeable core class with this fellow by the name of William Link, who's a CML, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, would you please look at my paper at lunch? He's like, you don't want me to look at it. You want this guy to look at it. And he points at another guy. So at lunch for like 20 minutes, I'm sitting with this guy, and I don't know who he is. And he's critiquing my article, basically. I'm later doing research on Medico 3, and I had found out his name was Peter Field, and I look at the patent for Medico 3.
I know Peter.
Jesus Christ. This man is, I have no idea who he is, so gracious, so just
the guy's
willing
a genius.
He has to be. Anyway.
He is a genius. He developed so much medical stuff it isn't even funny.
The most famous people no one's ever heard of, the general public has never heard of. So, here I am writing an article on, 19th century technology, and Mr. Field is helping me kind of not put my foot in my mouth. So, anyway, I love it.
If you ever get to meet Jerome Andrews, he works for Dorma now. He wrote books, The Fundamentals of Master Keying and all that. He's a Master Keying genius.
He is. His book is responsible for the foundation of my understanding of it, of basic, and then ultimately advanced master keying theory. His writing style is the sweetest style, very approachable. I've reached out to him through LinkedIn. Another man, very gracious with his time. Just, you know what I mean? The most famous people no one has ever heard of.
It's how it is. I mean, a lot of people don't know, the guy who started Security Lock, Sid Schwartz. Most people don't even realize that he invented that router jig for doing atoms right and the strikes for aluminum frames. He invented that, and he used that technology and holds patents, and they used his technology and patent where they do hip and knee replacements.
My goodness,
for routing out the phones. You never know that. He invented a bunch of the car stuff, like some of the door guards, the car cuff type stuff. This guy, he was a genius in his day. And that's why I love going to Security Lock to buy my stuff. I go in there, and I'd sit there, and because we knew each other through the Mass Locksmiths Association and all that, and we'd just have a blast. And I go in there, and one day he says, "You got to see what I did. I made this out of Arrow locks." And I said, "What'd you make?" And he said, "Come see." He made a chess set. He used chrome and polished brass and polished chrome for the pieces. He had 8 ball knobs for the pawns, and then he had the different knob designs for all the other pieces. He was like that, though. He was very smart. The guy figured out how to do. He had this incredible brain, and he went to the casinos and he watched the roulette wheels, and he figured out by the wood, the density, the grain, and he would watch, and he could tell that even though the wheels they say they're balanced, they never really are, and it plays. He could guess the numbers probably 80% of the time.
Wow.
He knew how to do that. That's how they are. You meet these people,
Yeah.
Right. They're famous people, but it's an incredible world we live in the hardware industry. But you got to be there, and
you're right.
New people, they don't care.
You got to be there, and participation in Aloha, participation in DHI. You can either be 9 to 5, or you can live and breathe this, and you don't have to be weird to live and breathe it, but you will be more successful.
That's why I'm at where I'm at. I'm never afraid to say no or take on a challenge.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm going to get. I can push. I'll get these through. I'm going to get best to, and we'll get these back from you. the inch and a quarter, unless you think it's something you can use.
It's nothing.
Okay.
There can't be any new
Black
charges.
Is the new 626.
Well, 626 became 619, which became 613, which became 622, in my opinion.
Wait a minute, you missed a step. 643E got stuffed in there, and 716, this age bronze crap. What the hell?
So back in the 1970s, we're 5 generations here. So I remember in the 80s walking through the warehouse, there were cases of Aero etched bronze, 643E. But what was it? It wasn't called that then. It was called something else.
No, it was called something else. It was called, it was like that Georgian.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember. You're right. And it was all like this weird etched finish, but it was like aged bronze. And it wasn't, and they did it in antique too.
Yeah.
And it's right. Like, and Aero was the one that did it, and it was ugly as sin.
It was cool in the 70s, but yeah, you're right. We have the Legion to blame for bringing that back.
Right. So no, I wanted to reach out to you. I know there's been some difficulty with this one and getting it figured out. I will get with Best. I see the problem. In fact, I'm going to educate the other two, because I went and dug through all my old books, and I've made pictures showing how to measure a Best housing, and I know what they did, and I get it, because there are other companies that do measure and count the cam, and some don't. I wish they would all do it the same, but they don't.
They don't, and
this one.
I've reached out to other people to try to understand the philosophy, and one probable thing is that Best is relatively late to the world of manufacturing hardware, and measuring the length of the brass body itself may have been conducive to their manufacturing process. They may just do it that way because it's historically been done that way. And as a hardware professional, my obligation is to get it right and, call it tomato, as I told Christina. We've got to make sure that it is what it is. So, yeah.
No, and I got what you're saying. I know what this needs to be. I'm hoping that one day somebody can do what they did with, like Schlage did with their regular mortar cylinders, to make them expandable.
Yeah.
If they could do that and do a face on the front of the removable core. In fact, I'm going to call a buddy of mine, because I help a buddy of mine do research and development with lock cylinders and housings. I'm not going to spill the beans, but there's something big on the horizon, and it is going to blow the socks off of everybody with the flexibility that you'll be able to do, especially with small format housings.
I look forward to it.
I will get this in the works. I will get 12 more on order today. I'll get an RMA in place and a UPS label, because I'll just take those and put them in my stock.
Darn right. They're literally sitting 8 feet from my desk. I can turn around and look at them.
And I will get this squared away for you. And my extension, you got my direct number, and my email is s.murray. You waited for me. I appreciate that, because I was just putting out another fire with somebody else. He calls, and I'm like, I hope I don't get any calls before Rich calls. I want to get this squared away. And sure enough, I called the guy Eeyore, because that's all he does is he talks like, oh, I've got this problem, and this lock isn't right, and oh my, what am I going to do? This is his everyday way of doing life. For 21 years I've been here. That's how this guy is. Just, you know what? Be happy about it. But we'll get this fixed. I know what the problem is. You're right. They don't get it, but they will, because they've never been in the field. You know what I mean?
And I realize that the people upstream of us at Security Lock, they were just trying to get it right. I understand that. But it would be helpful if there was uniformity, because when you analyze the length of a mortar cylinder, there's really no reason why they don't include the cam, because the operational envelope of the mortar cylinder, if you have it in your hand and it doesn't interact with any other hardware, you can call it any length you want. But when you got to make it work in a lock case, in a door, and the client's doing weird stuff in the opening, like in this case, adding a fabric panel, so there cannot be a cylinder ring. So that's why that 24 code is drawn out in CAD. Okay, it can't hang out at all. They don't want a collar.
Right.
They don't want anything.
You know, anything overseas, and a lot of people don't realize it almost has to be super exact, in that it's not like here where we use the regular mortise, and yeah, it can be flexible, 1 1/8, 1 1/4. I can use a little bit deeper collar, not a problem. They don't get it. And we have that flexibility here. You don't on a lot of European stuff. And when you say Italy, I deal with a guy now that deals with a chain all around the world, and it is so specific, and it can't be off.
Yeah, I just, you know, the guy paid for 1 1/2 on the body length. That's what he's being sent. So that's all there is.
All right, Rich, I will get to work on this right now, get it squared away, and we'll make this happen, and I'll get a UPS label over. I'll have them send it direct to you.
Yes, sir, that'd be fine.
And your email, let me make sure I do have it here, because I think somebody said that it kicks back for some reason. Let's see. I have RHOWARD@absupply.net.
Yes, sir, that's exactly correct.
I will get this in the works for you. We'll get you squared away.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. Have a good weekend.
You too, Rich. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Bye. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.